I'm Amelia, 32, standing in my parents' San Diego kitchen, gripping my sister's wedding invitation. Tomorrow's her big day, and I'm bursting with excitement, dress big speech, polished. Mom, I'm so excited for the wedding tomorrow, I say, voice bright. She stiffens, her spoon clattering against her mug. Teresa, she says, eyes darting away. It was last week. My chest tightens, breath catching. The invitation falls, smacking the counter. I snatch it up. Tomorrow's date stares back. What do you mean? I demand, voice shaking. She mumbles. We sent the wrong date, it's done. My pulse roars. My family, mom, dad, my sister lied to exclude me. I think of the thousands I've poured into their lives. My sister's debts. Their vacations while they pushed me aside. My jaw clenches, anger surging. I won't cry. I won't beg. Something hardens in me. They think they can use me and toss me out. They're about to learn I'm not that easy to erase. Ever felt stabbed in the back by family? Share your story in the comments below. Later that night, I sat in my gas lamp quarter condo, staring at the invitation. Its elegant script mocked me, each swirl a reminder of my family's betrayal. How could they? Mom, dad, my sister, plan this? I tossed the card onto the coffee table, my mind spiraling back to the years I'd been there. Safety net, always there, always giving. 3 years ago, my sister, then 27, launched her interior design business. She had big dreams, sleek showrooms, wealthy clients, but her first major project tanked. A client bailed, leaving her with $10,000 in debt. I got the call at midnight, her voice shaky, begging for help. I'll pay you back, she swore. I wired the money the next day, no questions asked. She never mentioned it again, not even a thank you. I brushed it off, thinking that's what sisters do. Then there was mom and dad's house. 2 summers back, their suburban San Diego home needed repairs. Leaky roof, cracked foundation. $30 earned, they said, or they'd lose it. I covered it, dipping into my savings from years of late nights as a tech project manager. Dad mumbled something about gratitude. Mom just nodded. I thought it brought us closer. Wrong. They never invited me to their Christmas parties, those loud, crowded gatherings where neighbors swapped stories over wine. You're too busy, Mom would say, her tone sharp. Too busy or just not wanted. Last Thanksgiving was the worst. I'd driven 3 hours to join them only to find the house empty. We're at the neighbors, my sister texted, no invite attached. I stood on their porch, keys dangling, feeling like an intruder in my own family. I'd funded their lives, debts, repairs, even their anniversary trip to Napa. But I was always the outsider, the one they called when checks bounced, not when they celebrated. My phone buzzed, snapping me back. It was Claudia Page, my cousin, 38, a freelance journalist who always had my back. Teresa, you okay? She asked, her voice soft but urgent. I told her about the invitation, my words tumbling out. She sighed. I didn't want to be the one to say this, but they planned it. Your sister insisted you'd overshadow her day, your job, your confidence. Mom backed her up. They sent the wrong date to keep you away. My grip tightened on the phone. Claudia's words burned, each one a shard of glass. My sister, the one I'd bailed out, thought I'd ruin her wedding. And Mom, who'd taken my money, agreed. I paced my condo, the city lights flickering outside. Every memory stung sharper now, every ignored call, every snide remark about my fancy career. I'd been their bank, their fixer, but never their equal. Claudia stayed on the line, her voice steady. You don't deserve this, Teresa. What are you going to do? I stopped pacing my reflection, staring back from the dark window. They thought they could erase me from their perfect day. Fine, I'd show them I wasn't just their fallback plan. I'd show them who really held the power. The next morning, I drove to my parents' house. My hands clenched, the wheel heart pounding from last night's truth. Claudia's call had ripped the veil off my family plan to exclude me. I parked in their driveway, the 2-story house, a quiet backdrop for the storm I was about to unleash. I wasn't here to plead. I wanted them to face what they'd done. I banged on the door, each knock sharp. Betty Wheeler, my mom, 58, opened it, her eyes widening. Teresa? Why so early? She asked, voice tight. I pushed past her into the living room where Gerald Wheeler, my dad, 62, sat with his coffee, eyebrows raised. My sister, Vicky Wheeler, 28, sprawled on the couch, scrolling her phone. They all stilled as I stood, arms folded, staring them down. Why did you lie to keep me from the wedding? I asked, voice like steel. Vicky's head snapped up, her eyes narrowing. Mom started, Teresa. Let's not, but I cut in. No, you sent a fake date. Wise silence choked the room. Dad set his cup down, avoiding my gaze. Vicky tossed her phone aside, sitting up. All right, she said, voice dripping with defiance. I didn't want you there. You always steal the spotlight, your tech job, your confidence. It was my day, not yours. Her words stung sharp and raw. My sister, who I'd pulled from financial ruin, thought I'd overshadow her. I've given you everything, I said, my tone low controlled, and you repay me by cutting me out. Mom stepped between us, her face hard. Teresa, you're too independent. It makes us feel inadequate. Vicky deserved to shine. Her defense was a knife twisting deeper. Dad just sat there silent, his eyes on the floor, complicity in his stillness. I turned to him. Dad, you let this happen. He shifted, muttering, it's not that simple. Not simple. They'd erased me from a day I'd planned to celebrate, and he had nothing to say. Every moment I'd been their lifeline, money, time, loyalty flashed through my mind. They'd taken it all, then pushed me aside like I was nothing. My hands balled into fists, but I kept my voice even. Yelling wouldn't change them. I'm done being your fallback, I said, eyes locked on Vicky. She smirked, leaning back. You're blowing this out of proportion, she said. Mom nodded, her voice softer now. We're family, Teresa. Don't turn this into a war. But it was a war. They'd drawn the line, treating me like a tool, not a daughter, not a sister. I looked at them. Vicky's smug expression, Mom's forced calm, Dad's avoidance, and saw no regret, only justification. I headed for the door, my steps deliberate. This isn't the end, I said, pausing, my hand on the knob. Vicky laughed, a harsh, cutting sound. What? You'll make us pay, she mocked. Mom reached out, saying, Teresa, stay and talk. I didn't look back. They thought I'd cave like always, but they were wrong. I'd built my life, my career, my strength without their approval. They'd underestimated me, assuming I'd swallow their betrayal. As I stepped outside, the morning air, sharp against my skin, my mind was clear. They'd built their lives on my support. Now they'd learn what happened when that support vanished. The next day, I sat in my office in downtown San Diego, pulling out a folder. Yesterday's confrontation, Vicky's smug admission, Mom's defense, Dad's silence had hardened my resolve. I wasn't here to wallow. I had a weapon when my family never suspected. I spread the documents across my desk, their weight grounding me, and called Claudia. Claudia Page. My cousin picked up quickly. Teresa, how are you holding up? She asked, her voice steady but concerned. I didn't hesitate. 5 years ago, Mom and Dad were in a financial hole. Medical debts, bad deals. They were about to lose their beach house in La Jolla. I bought it, 200,000 my savings. It's mine legally. Claudia's breath caught. You own the La Jolla house, she said, disbelief clear. They never said a word. Exactly, I replied, my tone sharp. I let them live there. No rent, thinking it was for family. After the wedding, I'm done being their doormat. Claudia's voice turned fierce. Teresa, that's your asset. They've used you long enough. Hold on to it tight. Her support was like steel bolstering me. My family had taken my loyalty for granted, but this house was my line in the sand. I ended the call and dialed Linda Morse, my lawyer, 42, known for her razor-sharp legal mind. She arrived at my office within an hour, her briefcase clicking open. Let's see it, she said, eyes focused. I slid the folder to her, deeds, contracts, proof of my purchase. She flipped through, her expression unreadable at first. This is solid, she said, finally holding up the deed. You own it outright, no encumbrances. They have zero claim. My shoulders relaxed and not loosening. They act like it's theirs, I said. Living there, using it like they own it. Linda's eyes met mine, unflinching. Legally they're tenants at best. You want to assert control. I can prepare notices today. Eviction if needed. Her confidence anchored me. I'd poured years into my family, money, time, trust, only to be sidelined. This house was my leverage, my way to reclaim what was mine. Get the paperwork ready, I told her. I want it ironclad. She nodded, scribbling notes. I'll have drafts by morning. Claudia called again as Linda left. Teresa, I heard your sister's been hosting clients at that beach house, passing it off as hers. She said, her tone sharp. I gripped the folder, my jaw tightening. Vicky flaunting my property to prop up her shaky business. The same sister who'd cut me out to shine. It was another slap piling onto their betrayal. She'll find out soon enough, I said, my voice low. Claudia didn't pause. You're in the right. Don't let them manipulate you into giving in. I stood walking to my office window. The city hummed below, but my focus was clear. That La Jolla house wasn't just brick and mortar. It was my sacrifice. My years of late nights. My trust in a family that didn't deserve it. Vicky's entitlement. Mom's excuses. Dad's silence. They thought I'd keep giving, keep forgiving. They were wrong. I'd built my career, my life without their support. These documents were my power, and I was ready to wield it. They'd pushed me out, but I'd make sure they knew I wasn't erased. A week later, I was in Robert Klein's office signing a stack of papers. My family's betrayal had left scars, but I was done being their lifeline. Today, I was severing every financial tie they'd exploited. Linda Morse, my lawyer, stood nearby, her calm presence steadying me as I took back control. Robert Clean, my financial advisor, Bedate, pushed a folder toward me. "These close the joint account you opened with your parents years ago," he said, his voice matter of fact. "The $15,000 loan your sister took out. It's now in Betty and Gerald Wheeler's names. They're on the hook, not you." I signed each page, my pen steady. That account meant to help Mom and Dad through lean years had become their tool to drain me. No longer. My phone lit up with a text from my sister Vicky. "Teresa, I'm sorry, can we talk?" I stared at the screen, her words ringing false. She'd skimmed to exclude me, laughed in my face when I called her out. I ignored the message, focusing on the papers. Linda noticed, her eyes sharp. "You don't owe her a response," she said. "Stay focused on protecting yourself." I nodded, her words grounding me. Vicky's apology was too late, too empty. Robert turned to another document. "This locks your family out of your accounts and investments," he said. "Your savings, your assets, they're untouchable now." His assurance was a wall between me and their greed. For years I'd paid their bills, covered their mistakes, even handled taxes for the beach house they rented out for profit. They'd pocketed the rental income while I footed the maintenance costs, assuming I'd never push back. Today that ended. Linda added. Her tone clipped. "The loan transfer is airtight. If they miss payments, it's their problem." I pictured Vicky's smug grin, Mom's excuses, Dad's silence. They'd treated my support like their right, renting out my property, while leaning on me to keep it running. "They'll have to figure it out," I said, my voice firm. Robert stacked the signed forms. "You're completely independent now, Teresa. They have no access." Another text from Vicky buzzed in. "Please, I didn't mean to hurt you. Let's fix this." My fingers twitched, but I didn't reply. Her words were a ploy, not remorse. She was scrambling because I'd stopped playing her game. I flipped my phone over, letting Robert's voice pull me back. "Your financial profile is secure," he said. "No shared liabilities remain." A weight I'd carried for years being their fallback, their bank began to lift. This wasn't just about money. It was about reclaiming my life. Linda tucked her notes away. "If they try to challenge this, we're prepared," she said, her gaze steady. "You're in control." I felt a quiet power settle in. My family had banked on my generosity, my silence, expecting me to fold. Every signature today was a refusal to let them define me. I'd built my career, my stability, while they profited off my work. No more. As I left Robert's office, papers secured, my phone buzzed again. "Vicky, Teresa, don't cut us off like this." I swiped the message away without a second thought. She thought guilt would pull me back, keep me tethered to their needs. But I was done. They'd used my property's rental income, my money, my trust, treating me as a resource to exploit. Now, with every tie cut, I was free to let them face the consequences of their choices. 3 weeks later, Claudia called with news about my family. I was at home sipping coffee, the weight of recent weeks still heavy. Cutting them off financially had been my line in the sand, and now the ripples were hitting. Claudia's voice was tense. "Teresa, your sister's in trouble," she said. "Vicky lost a $50,000 design contract. She and Scott are scrambling to cover their bills." I leaned back, unsurprised. Vicky's business had always been shaky, propped up by my support until I pulled the plug. "They're feeling the pressure?" Claudia added. "Scott's been asking around, trying to find new clients, but it's not looking good." I set my mug down. A grim satisfaction settling in. They'd relied on me for too long. My phone rang that afternoon. Scott Harper, Vicky's husband, 30. "Teresa, I owe you an apology," he said, his voice low. "I had no idea Vicky planned to keep you from the wedding. I thought you just couldn't make it." His sincerity caught me off guard, but it didn't soften me. "Scott, you're married to her." I said, my tone even. "You didn't notice her lies?" He paused, then said, "I should have questioned it." "I'm sorry." I didn't respond, letting the silence speak. His regret was real, but it changed nothing. They'd all benefited from my exclusion. Later, an email from Mom Betty Wheeler popped up. Subject: "Please, Teresa." I stared at the screen, her name, a reminder of her excuses during our confrontation. I deleted it without opening it, my resolve firm. She'd defended Vicky, dismissed my pain. Her words now were just another attempt to pull me back into their mess. I wasn't budging. Claudia called again that evening, her tone darker. "There's more," she said. "Your family has been talking about you in the community. They're saying you're selfish, that you abandoned them for your career." My jaw tightened, anger flaring. Selfish. After years of bailing them out, covering their debts, their taxes, their mistakes. They were painting me as the villain to save face. People are starting to ask questions, Claudia said. Some believe them, but others aren't buying it. It's stirring up noise. I gripped my phone, the sting of their betrayal cutting deeper. They couldn't control me anymore, so they were trying to ruin my name. I stood pacing my living room. The rumors hurt, but they also clarified things. My family wasn't just ungrateful, they were desperate to shift blame. Vicky's lost contract, Scott's late apology, Mom's email. It was all damage control. They thought they could guilt me, smear me, make me cave. But I'd spent years building my life, my reputation without their help. Their lies wouldn't undo that. Claudia's voice softened. You're stronger than this, Teresa. Don't let their gossip shake you. Her support was a lifeline, reminding me I wasn't alone. I thought of the community, neighbors, colleagues, friends who'd known me for years. Some might buy the rumors, but others knew my character. My family's words were noise, not truth. I'd face the whispers head high and let their actions speak for themselves. They'd underestimated me, thinking I'd break under pressure. But I was done carrying their weight. They'd soon lies. Now they'd reap the consequences. A month later, I was in a meeting when Paul Adams called from security. My heart sank as he said my family was downstairs demanding to see me. I excused myself and headed to the lobby of my downtown office, bracing for what was coming. Mom Betty Wheeler stood with Dad, Gerald Wheeler, and Claudia Page by the reception desk. Mom's eyes were red, Dad's face blank, Claudia's expression tense. Teresa, we need to talk, Mom said, her voice trembling. We're sorry. Can we fix this? I crossed my arms unmoved. Their apologies felt like a last-ditch effort, not sincerity. Dad stepped forward, his voice low. We didn't mean to hurt you, he said. Let's put this behind us. I shook my head, and their words too familiar, too late. Claudia, silent until now, met my gaze, her eyes searching. Teresa, they asked me to come, she said. I thought maybe you'd listen. I trusted Claudia. But I wasn't here to bend. I pulled out my phone, opening a video Vicky had sent by mistake months ago, her wedding, where she deliberately excluded me. Claudia, you need to see this, I said, hitting play. The footage showed Vicky laughing, toasting with guests, saying, good thing Teresa's not here to steal my spotlight. Claudia's face pale, her hand covering her mouth. She planned it, Claudia whispered, turning to Mom and Dad. You knew. Mom looked away. Dad stayed silent. Their guilt was clear. Mom's voice cracked. Teresa, please, we're struggling. Let us stay in the beach house just for a while. I stared, incredulous. They'd rented out my Laho property for years, pocketing the profits while I paid the taxes and upkeep. Now, with their finances crumbling, they wanted to move in. No. I said, my voice cold. That house is mine. You've taken enough. Claudia stepped closer, her voice firm. Teresa's right, she said, facing Mom and Dad. You betrayed her and you're still asking for more. Her support was a shield, strengthening my resolve. Mom's eyes welled up. We're your family, she pleaded. Don't do this. But her words bounced off me. Family didn't scheme, didn't lie, didn't use me for years, then beg when it suited them. Dad tried again, his tone softer. We can work this out, Teresa. We're sorry. I shook my head, the video still looping in my mind. Vicky's laugh, Mom's silence, Dad's complicity. They'd chosen their side long ago. You made your choices, I said. Live with them. I turned to Paul Adams, the security lead, 42, standing nearby. Paul, please escort them out, I said. He nodded, gesturing toward the exit. Mom's voice rose desperate. Teresa, don't shut us out. But I walked away, Claudia following. In my office, she gripped my arm. You did the right thing, she said. That video, it's proof they don't deserve you. I nodded, my chest tight. The community might whisper, believe their lies, but I knew the truth. They'd tried to break me, control me, use me. I'd built my life without them. My career, my strength, my peace. Their apologies were hollow, their pleas. I wasn't their fallback anymore. They'd faced the world without my shadow to hide in. 6 months later, and I stood on the deck of my La Jolla Beach house. The ocean's breeze wrapped around me, carrying a freedom I'd earned through hard-won battles. My life now belonged to me, shaped by my choices, unburdened by my family's demands. My career had taken flight. A recent promotion placed me at the helm of a major project, my confidence honed to a fine edge. Claudia and Linda, my steadfast friends, became my pillars, valuing me for who I was, not what I could give. Over lunch last week, Claudia's grin was infectious. You're a force, Teresa. Linda's nod was warm. You've built something untouchable. Their words lit a fire in me, a testament to the strength I'd gained by holding my ground. Yesterday, an invitation arrived for Mom and Dad's anniversary celebration. Betty and Gerald Wheeler, still chasing their facade of perfection, had asked me to attend. I sent a small gift instead, a courteous gesture, nothing more. Their attempt to draw me back into their orbit failed. I'd spent years propping them up, only to be pushed aside. That door was firmly shut. Claudia shared news of my family struggles. Vicky and Scott had moved to a tiny apartment, their finances crumbling after Vicky lost a key contract. Their social circle dwindled as allies turned away. Mom and Dad faced their own reckoning, their reputations stained by their own deceit. They'd profited from renting out my beach house, leaned on me for years, then spread lies when I walked away. Now they stood alone in the consequences. I leaned on the railing, gazing at the waves. Their actions had repercussions, and I was no longer their fallback. Vicky's schemes, Mom's manipulations, Dad's silence. They'd tried to box me in to diminish me. But I'd discovered my value. I'd poured my heart into a family that didn't cherish it, a mistake I'd never repeat. My home, my career, my life. They were mine, forged through years of determination. As the horizons stretched before me, a quiet peace settled in. The sting of their betrayal lingered, but it no longer held me captive. Claudia's laughter from our last call rang in my ears. Linda's steady counsel anchoring me. I was surrounded by those who uplifted me, not dragged me down. My family's selfishness cost them their community, their stability. I chose myself, and it brought me freedom. This journey taught me a truth. Your worth isn't what others take, it's what you create. I let my family define me for too long, but no more. Their betrayal revealed their true selves and unlocked my potential. To those listening, hear this. Don't let anyone dim your light to fuel their own. Stand firm. Own your value and let those who wrong you face their reckoning. I did, and it changed everything. Thank you for hearing my story. Please share your thoughts below and consider subscribing to this channel for more stories of strength and renewal.